Just really quick, for those of you who are scrambling to get everything online, most of you are already working with D2l, and if you're not, that's another issue. Please contact Chris or Deneen or myself, Leslie Batchelder, and we will figure out how to support you. There's two really sort of helpful things that I just want to show you in D2l that you perhaps haven't done before. If you're new to teaching online, you might just be using it as a file cabinet. And I want to show you, the first thing I'm going to show you is under activities. It's called the checklist. Checklists are really important. You can make a checklist by adding, all your weeks in here. And they're really important, as I discovered in reviewing excellent professors when we had our award for Deneen. She teaches online a lot. One of the things that the students mentioned over and over again were the checklists. They mentioned that was really, really helpful for them. So you can see that in week 1, they have the online orientation that is due, and then a flip grid video introduction. And each of these is actually a live link, I think, to the instructions. Yeah, you're making a video, blah, 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 right? So you can put description instructions in there for your students. You can say the due date, when it's due, and save it, right? That's weird. It's not under a category. It should be under, oh yeah, to be completed. So for week 1, you know how D2l works already, many of you have to have it nested inside of a category. These are the items, and this is the category, to be completed. So I've done that in all of my checklists. And, I have one for each week, as you saw. So that's one tool in D2l. If you're not using it already, we've gotten rave reviews from students on the checklist. As I said, reading a lot of Deneen's evaluations and other instructors as well in preparing for our award ceremonies. I've been on the award committee all along. And, that's really important. Students respond to that checklist. Another thing that you may or may not be aware of that you can do in D2l, I prefer it myself, is to create what's called, a web page. And the way that you do that is you say, I want to create a file, okay? And I'll show you what it looks like. So here, it's a dorky picture of me. This is just my introduction to the course. So I say who I am, first steps, read the syllabus, blah, blah, blah. Everything's in the syllabus. There it is. And then, what is your weekly class process going to be? It's good to explain that up front. What's the course calendar? What are we doing? What's this course about? Talk about what your course is about. I also ask the mentor to create a short video talking about themselves, introducing themselves, and here's something about me and a video about the class. Okay, so you can see if you go through this course, this is the course that I teach online, and you can see that in each week, so here's week 2, we're moving into a module, and what I do is I have an overview. What are we doing in this module? My modules are 2 weeks long, but you can do it week by week. What are we doing in this particular thing? Takeaways, learning objectives, and then important reminders. Like looking ahead, you're going to have this due, you're going to have that due. So again, the way that you do that is you go into, whatever it is, you go into the week and you say create a file. This helps you to create a web page. And you see this? You just write in here whatever you want. Um, week, so week, oopsie, one, overview. What are we doing? And then, learning ob objectives. Or I like to say takeaways, or something like that. Whatever you want to say. And then reminders or looking ahead, yeah. And so, and you can even, so you have that. And in my course, I have read, watch, do. But in my freshman course, so anyway, you can configure this however you want. For headings, I use number 2. And I often will put it in color just because I think it's kind of nicer for the student's eye or whatever. So I'll put it in blue usually. And then I would do all of these in the same style. Header, number 2, right? So anyway, you create your content. You can add in pictures that you find. And again, what I do, to those of you who have watched my videos before, you know this. I use Pixabay because they are all free images, copyright free. So let's say that we're studying recycling the first, oh, did I say that? The first week of the course. So yeah, here we go. So I can download this and put it in there. Easy peasy, right? Download it. So let's go back to creating our file. And I'm going to upload. And if I go to recents, it should be right. Oops, no, that's not it. Okay. So anyway, so recycle is the name of it. Recycle 29227 should be in here. Come on, there it is. Yeah, so you can add images, and then, whenever you add an image, you always have to say of a recycling logo or whatever, just so like if you do have a blind student, they know what it is. And of course, you resize it. You don't want it that big in your course. But, I usually put an image in there just to help students, whatever. And then here I'm this week. We'll be exploring. Oh my gosh, you guys. Blah, blah, blah. Telling what you're doing. And we don't want that, of course. You don't want bold either. And you tell them what you're doing. Right, so that's how you do that. Or whatever. So that's how you make these little web pages. And I happen to think that they're really good. Really helpful for students because you can organize all the information for the week. What I'm going to show you now is how I do that in my freshman course, which is not online, but from teaching online, I've started doing it for them too. And you can see well, here we go, what I'm talking about here. So if we go to content, 1. Um, Welcome back. Let's talk numbers. So this is the first week of my term in the winter. We do a time management thing. So, we're going to talk about this is what's going to happen this term. Here's my syllabus. For Thursday, you need to do this, to read these and then post a reading response. So, the way that you do that in the web page, I can show you. Um, they have all those tools like putting links in to discussions, or you can a URL, right? So you can put links in there. That's how I've done this stuff here. I've uploaded this as a course file, and then I just go in when I'm writing this and say I want to link to a course file, or you can upload a new file, right? So course file, it's in here. I've got a gajillion course files. But, if you need any help setting this up, um, Janine or, our whole team of people that have taught online. But I like to use these little, okay, so I'm going to save and close this. So I like to use these little overviews for each week to let the freshmen and everybody just know, this is what we're doing. So when you go into another week, week 2, you're going to have, obviously 2 days where they're doing something, right? Not just one. So if we go into week 2, you can see it's expanded. Portland as a place space. That's my little web page introduction for this week. And so I'm talking about, what we're doing, la la la, basic. So I like to use those web pages just to organize things for students so they know what's going on. This is just a short video, guys. I thought I would share with you really quickly. So the checklist and using this web page sort of introductory week overview thing for your course for the first 2 weeks. And again, how you do that is you create a file. This is an HTML text that you're creating, which is a web page, right? And all the code, all the HTML code and stuff is behind it. But this is how you make those web pages. We don't want winter assignments. We want to go to week 1. So you can see, and it'll have this little symbol afterwards. That's one thing that I would really recommend that has worked for me. And in this situation, it might help you organize your course just for the first couple of weeks to think about what you want to communicate those first 2 weeks. What are the things you have students working on? And we can help you do all sorts of things like put little videos in there that you've made and stuff like this video that I'm just throwing together right now. But this is just to give you an idea of 2 things you can do within D2l really quickly to help your students navigate these first couple of weeks of spring term.